Cobra's in the process of building their fleet. Here's a look at the G.I. Joe Cobra Fang construction set. Now, before we get a closer look at the Cobra Fang construction set that comes included with Cobra Commander, how about the first thing we do is figure out how tall does the minifigure stand? Oh, I really do want to resist the urge of calling it a minifigure because it's technically not a minifigure. It's not produced by Lego. It's produced by a company called Forever Clever, and they're doing it licensed for Hasbro. So really, they're the one that are making the sets. Cobra Commander stands 1.9 inches tall. You can switch that over to centimeters, revealing that the figure is 5 centimeters exactly. Actually, just moving the Fang out of the way for a second, I wanted to leave Cobra Commander here and bring in a regular Lego minifigure so you can see the difference in height. They really are constructed and to be about the same height to one another as well. This happens to be Endgame's Black Widow. Picking the two figures up so you can see them closely, they're roughly about the same height. Like I said, body-wise, they're pretty much the exact style of build. They have made some changes, like you'll see that Cobra Commander's hands are a little bit smaller than a standard Lego minifigure body. But like the bodies themselves are pretty much going to be the same makeup, except for the fact that Cobra Commander is quite hollow on the backs of his legs. Unlike these minifigures where, I guess that's not true, because a lot of times you will still have to put the arms, the legs, and stuff together. The only thing that's different with Cobra Commander, though, is while you still have to put everything together, you have to also put together his legs. Minifigs tend not to have that. They usually just look like this, and you put them in place. But you do actually have to snap the two halves of his legs together to get Cobra Commander finished like this. The material that they used, while being plastic, has more of a slick feel to it than a regular Lego minifigure. You can see he does have the printing on the front to look like his jacket. He does also have a removable helmet. So while you are removing it, it just looks like a regular minifigure head sculpt. Again, I really want to resist calling these minifigures. The head, I feel like it lacks a little something. I don't know. Whether they could have put a line in there. There is technically a mold line right here that I might be inclined just to kind of use that. It's there after all anyways, and just put that right in the middle. I'm sure that's not what the intended plan was, but at least it looks a little bit more like Cobra Commander. Like I said, it lacks a little something on the head sculpt. Posability on this is just like your traditional minifigure, so the arms rotate back and forth, hands swivel, the head rotates, although most of the time you're just going to be rotating the helmet. And then you can also move the legs back and forth as well. He doesn't come with any weapons, so it's basically just going to be him stock like this. And of course, he's going to come included with the Fang helicopter as well. To help build the Fang, and I will say it's a pretty simple build, it's only 47 pieces, but you do get yourself an instruction sheet. Not necessarily a booklet, but it is two-sided. And building this probably took me about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, because like I said, 47 pieces, you get through that pretty fast. The other thing I will say, though, about the instruction sheet, which one point I would probably take away from this set, and there's probably going to be several points I'm going to take away from the set, but number one really being the fact that there's no places on here that show you where to put the stickers. Yes, because this set also comes included with stickers. You can see down below it is licensed by Hasbro, but again, it's produced by a company called Forever Clever. I have left some of the stickers off. I'm not really sure whether I want to use all of them or not. The stickers apply pretty good over top of what I feel is sort of an inferior build. Anyways, those are your sticker sheets. And now let's get down to the problem I have with this set. I'm going to move Cobra Commander over for a second, and we're going to look at the Fang. And I had the original Fang as a kid. I love that thing. That was one of my favorite Cobra vehicles. I will say it replicates the Fang pretty good. It has the things that you would expect the Fang to have, like missiles down below and a front cannon gun. But unfortunately, I will say, like, the build on this is rough. It's supposed to be compatible with other build companies out there, and I guess to that regard it is. But the assembly of the bricks, they don't feel like they really stay together very well at all. Especially the propeller, which we'll spend a lot of time talking about in a second. But even as you can see, the bricks themselves, even when I was putting it together, it just didn't seem like everything stays together at all. And then when I pick it up and I start moving it, well, things fall off real quick. And then I have to then find them on the fallen floor where, well, again, they fell onto the floor. I have to go looking for them. I have applied some of the stickers. Some of them have held a little bit better than others. Like, for example, you got the Cobra logo on the back. You've got a couple of warnings and danger, hot exhaust. The places that didn't apply the greatest, though, were on the missiles. The missiles, as you can clearly see, are just pretty much bazookas. That's all they are, is they're rocket launchers. You can really detach them from the, I guess, the bottom runners of the helicopter. And you could technically, if you want to, put the rocket launcher into Cobra Commander's hands. I don't know if they will be using this as an actual rocket launcher or a bazooka. But, I mean, technically, that's really what it is. You can see that right there. But, like, the stickers on it don't stay on at all, especially here. More so on anything that's, basically anything that's rounded. The stickers, for the little time that I've had this built, are already starting to peel up. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and put this on back onto the side. So, yeah, while the set was easy to build, and not the most expensive of sets to be picking up, I just feel like it's got really inferior building to it. And a lot of the problems is that, like, some of the bricks are only holding on by one piece. So, like, for example, the tail of the helicopter attaches to just a single peg right there. And you would think that that would be more than enough, but it isn't. It's almost like there's something off on the actual pegs. They don't stay on very well at all. Oh, talk more about this. This is my biggest problem, is the propeller. The front gun, as you can see here, just attaches by two pegs located here on the front. I wasn't really sure which way I wanted to have it. Part of me really wanted to have it a little bit further down, but then that doesn't look right either. If you have it a little bit higher up, it really should have like a little part above the helicopter or above the gun that's supposed to stay there. But if you put it up a little bit too high, I feel it's almost too high of it to be sitting like this. And like I said, this doesn't stay on there at all. I mean, this just falls. All you really have to do is tap it, and this thing's falling off. Anyways, you can take Cobra Commander. Where do we put Cobra Commander? We can take Cobra Commander very carefully, because I don't want to knock the propeller off. You have to kind of sit him inside there, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of clearance to work with. They've given you sort of control joysticks, but if you've got them facing the wrong way, like if you have them facing forward, then Cobra Commander just doesn't stay well in there. And as you'll see, as you're doing it, everything just falls apart on it. It just feels really flimsy when you're handling this. Anyways, the biggest issue, the largest issue I have with this set, as I just dropped it, as I just dropped the cannon, as you can see, nothing really stays together, is this, the propeller. Why is the propeller designed like this? All it really is, we take this off here, you're taking one of the pegs on the bottom of the brick, and you're sitting it inside this hole here, and that's supposed to be enough to keep it in place. I guess the idea is that they're supposed to have it resting in this so you'd be able to spin it. Spinning it fine, but it doesn't stay well on there. So every single time I'm picking this up, this part just falls right off. It's almost a shame that they couldn't have put like a peg, like an actual piece that went straight through the hole where you would be able to have it very comfortably and securely in place. And sadly, that's not the case. So while it is able to spin, just a little bit of banging or whatever, all the pieces fall apart to this. Half the time the missiles are moving around, the front half of it falls off, the back half of it falls off, and the top of the propeller, that falls off as well. I mean, one thing is, at least, is you're getting a fairly inexpensive build. It's not something I would certainly recommend to kids, because I feel like kids would get really frustrated putting together the Fang like this. It's also a bit strange, too, that Cobra Commander comes with a Fang. A claw, perhaps. A Cobra claw would have made some sense for the figure to come included with that. And I would have probably just given the Cobra Fang like a regular Cobra trooper or officer. It's, again, really strange that they would have given a Cobra Commander with that. But you can really add that to the long list of puzzling things that they decided to do with this build set. And this is only the first one that we're having a look at. Now, I wasn't into the Creo line. Creos kind of predated this. Remember, they did G.I.JOEs and they did Transformers, and they sort of had the same idea. You would build something and then they would include little figures, resisting the urge of calling them minifigures, but they essentially came with little figures. I didn't really like the look of Creon bodies. I will say, at least, to the credit of these ones, the figures themselves look a little bit closer to looking like Lego pieces. Essentially, that's what they're trying to do here, replicating a Lego set as done for G.I. Joe. Cobra Commander isn't so bad. I mean, you know, he's about the same size as a traditional Lego minifigure, and you can't fault it for that. The head sculpt's a little on the rough side, but I mean, working it with the regular traditional heads that they have to work with, and then just, of course, putting the helmet on top of it, Cobra Commander is serviceable. I would debate whether he should have really come included with the Cobra Fang. I mean, even advertised here on the front of the box, that looks like a Cobra officer. Why wouldn't they have just packaged a Cobra officer and maybe left Cobra Commander for, again, like I feel like a Cobra Claw would have made a better, suitable vehicle to go along with the Commander, but he's essentially coming packed with a Fang. An inferior Fang, if you ask me. The Fang looks close enough to the box art. I mean, they took some allowances and they had to sacrifice a few things like using a rocket launcher for a missile on the side. The problem with it, though, is there's too many things that are falling apart on this. I don't feel like even the bricks that are going together, I don't feel connect well enough that the back tail of the helicopter falls off, the front gun turret falls off. So many things are falling off of this, and the biggest one being the culprit is that propeller. Why did the propeller only sitting on just one single peg? How was that considered enough for that to stay in place? They should have had a post, and they should have had it go straight through that hole and securely attached it, but they didn't. Now again, for the price point of what they're selling these for, I think a lot of dollar stores in the United States were selling and advertising these. I didn't, unfortunately, have these in local dollar stores. I ended up having to order these online, and I don't think I had to pay too much for them. I was really, really hoping to get on board. I mean, for the vehicles that they've done so far, there's a lot there catered to the 80s G.I. Joe fan. The problem with it, though, is when you eventually get them home and you're putting them together, you realize that they're coming up really short. And I'm not just talking about the size of the figures that come included with it. The sets and the quality of the bricks themselves, I feel, are coming up just a little short. This is a line I really would have gotten all into, and I have picked up several sets that we will be looking at future reviews. Maybe I just happened to pick the wrong set to be the first set that we were looking at, a rather inferior Cobra Fang. Have you picked up any of the G.I. Joe construction sets? And if so, which ones have you picked up? And if so, have you had any problems putting them together, or at least keeping together? I was reading your comments down below. If you guys are also new to this channel and enjoying all the content you're seeing, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the bell notification. And yes, I did say we are going to be looking at some more G.I. Joe construction sets. I picked up, I think, 5 of them. So there will be other G.I. Joe construction set reviews coming soon to this channel. So keep your peepers peeled for that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time.